Video or live stream if you're happening to catch us live this evening because you're looking at starting your own pest control business, or maybe just any service business for that matter. And you're probably wondering just, how hard is it? How easy is it? We hear a lot, especially if you work for a pest control company, probably. Everyone always throwing around the ideas because we all see the numbers that the company makes, especially if you're paid on a production route. Those of you in the pest control industry probably know what I'm referring to. There's a lot of service industries going that way. That is, in terms of paying you based on the production you put out, sales that you do, things of that nature. And it's very easy to get caught up and think, what if I was doing this for myself? But something that a lot of people don't take into consideration with that is how hard is it or how easy is it? What actually has to be put in terms of the work? How long does it take? Is it as simple as just opening your business and then you start getting business? Do you have to knock doors? What should you expect? So we're going to go over some of that, just, kind of the positives, and I don't want to say negatives, but just the realities more than anything. It might sound negative in some aspects, but like I said, it's just a reality. If you're new to me, by the way, if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. My name is Griffin Thomas. I actually own my own pest control company, Preferred Pest Management, here in the Dallas, Texas area. We've been in business since 2020, 4 years now, and on my channel overall, I just document my overall business journey. I don't, know it all or anything like that whatsoever. Just tell you guys what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and just, like I said, just giving you all some real knowledge, like tonight's episode or podcast, wherever you want to refer to this as. If you're going to be tuning in live, my lives are Q&A format. I always have comments pulled up that I haven't gotten to, as well as, of course, those of you in the live chat. So if you're hopping in and you have any questions either about the topic tonight or just any questions whatsoever about starting or growing your business, let me know. If you're wondering, what's your business? Like I said, it's Preferred Pest Management. We're located in Plano, Texas. I took that business from zero and grew it to six figures my first year. And we're just kind of slowly but surely chugging along the way to that seven-figure range. We've had, employees. We've had 1099 contractors. We've had a little bit of experience with everything at this point. And, we're getting back on the saddle, so to speak, in terms of hiring employees again, because that's the only way you're going to get to the 7, 8, 9-figure levels, by hiring out. You can't do it all yourself, obviously. And, that kind of actually leads just right now. I took some quick notes just that I wanted to hit on for you guys this evening. And then, as usual in the live streams, once we get past just tonight's topic, we'll hop into all the questions from comments on videos. And then, of course, if y'all have anything along the way, and I know we'll have people filing in after the first 5-10 minutes like usual. But yeah, with that, we'll just go ahead and get right in. We'll start out with just the realities in terms of, starting your own service business, pest control business, whatever the case may be. Most of my viewers are pest control business owners or pest control technicians looking to maybe start their own pest control business. But a lot of the stuff we talk about here applies to HVAC, plumbing, electricians, pressure washing companies, any type of service where you're going and providing a service. I was going shell. But yeah. So like I said, with that, we'll start off with just kind of the harsh realities. Like I said, nothing crazy negative or anything, just some realities that I don't think a lot of people talk about in terms of just the realities of starting your own business and trying to grow it. Just, like I said, what does it actually take? So, first and foremost, of course, it's going to take a lot of sacrifice. It's going to take a lot in terms of just more time than you think. A lot of times whenever people talk about starting their own business, I hear the same things. And even myself, I didn't really fall into this trap per se, but I even thought about this briefly. I thought about the fact that, like, hey, if I go and run 20 stops in a day for Terminix, which is who I was working for when I first got in the pest control industry, started at Mosquito Joe and then really quickly went over to Terminix because they were paying more, had benefits, all that stuff. And, I just did the math, right? I was like, I'm doing 20 stops a day for Terminix. I'm making them anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500 a day. I could literally do half that work and more than replace my income, right? You just start doing the math and you start thinking, I can control my own schedule. I can take my time back, have more time with the family, all this different type of stuff, have more screw off time, whatever your goal is with starting your business. A lot of people tend to gear more towards they think they're going to be able to work less, make more. And in reality, that's not how it is whatsoever. Usually that first, I would say, just again, from my experience, I'm not talking, what if then, I'm talking from my experience. From my experience, that first 1 to 2 years specifically is the hardest just because, you're literally starting from zero. You have no connections, you got no reviews, you got no online presence. Your only way you're really going to go get customers is either by door knocking, passing out flyers, doing a lot of print ads. If you have some money set aside, which I highly suggest, of course, maybe doing some Facebook ads, Google local service ads, things that we talk about on this channel. But you're starting from zero, and you can get caught up thinking that, just by simply going online and registering your LLC and throwing up your Google business profile, throwing up your Facebook profile, just all these things that are basic that you have to do, right? You just think by doing all that, the phone's going to start ringing. And that's not how it goes whatsoever. As most of you that have actually started your business know, it takes a lot to get the phone ringing. It takes a lot to get to where we are today, 4 days in, where, if the phone doesn't ring in the first 1 to 3 hours of the day, I'm looking at analytics, seeing what's going on, our rankings dropping, because we have built that online presence now. And not to mention just referrals and things of that nature, where if we're not getting calls every single day now, something's going on. You don't start there, obviously. So to get there, it's going to take a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time. You have to build a lot of web pages. Even to this day, I don't know if you guys can really see it back there. I have my whiteboard where every week I'm trying to pump out 10 blog articles for our website to build what's called topical authority. We talk about that, amongst other things, about your website and things of that nature on this channel. But even to this day, I'm still trying to pump out upwards of 10 blog articles a week. This has been a crazy week, so I've only gotten 2 out of 10 up. I'm going to try to pump out at least 5 tomorrow, hopefully. But, again, it's just a lot of sacrifice. A lot of people don't tell you about just all the technicality stuff in terms of what it actually takes to build a website, to not just build a website, but actually optimize your website to get people to actually see you on, page 1, page 2 at the minimum. There's a lot of time, effort, and money that goes into that. It's not just, let me just pay $100 to have a website made and the calls start coming in. It's not like that whatsoever. There's what's called SEO, search engine optimization, that has to be done on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to keep you, one, if you do get on page 1 or page 2, keep you there, or more than likely, if you're starting out with a fresh, brand new website, brand new online presence, it's going to take you months to work your way from practically not ranking whatsoever, page 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, to work your way all the way up to page 1, page 2. So that's just one example. We just went over that in like 3 to 4 minutes. That's just one example of something that no one really talks a lot about until you start realizing, man, my website isn't doing shit. I'm not getting forms filled out on my website. I'm not getting calls from my website. There's so many things that go into just the online side of things alone that will literally have you up 12 to 20 hours a day working on your business if you're a driven individual who actually wants to succeed. So, that's the one thing right off the bat. It's just a lot of sacrifice, a lot of long days, a lot of restless nights. And then, like we said, this whole idea that you're gonna, we kind of hit on this a little bit earlier tonight, this idea that you're just creating your own schedule. Total BS. Now, sure, do you have that freedom because you are the owner, the operator, all that stuff, to move some stuff around and, hey, if an emergency comes up, be it in your family or with your health or whatever the case may be, do you have that flexibility for the most part? Sure. But this idea that you're going to go from working 40 hours a week to working 20 hours a week and making more money, just total BS. Anyone that subscribes to that BS is doomed to fail. I cannot stress that enough to you. So if you think that that's going to happen, stay put at your job. Don't start your business. If you think that you're going to hop out here and work less and make more, or even replace your income, because you're not. Now you can long term. We'll talk about that here in a minute. We kind of already hit on that where, like we said, you put a lot of work in up front, and then from there you can honestly kind of have things on autopilot depending on what your dreams are. My dream is to grow this to at least a $50 million valuated company before we end up exiting. So obviously to get there, I got to take lots of action every single day for years on years on years. Like I'm not even thinking about exiting. I'm not thinking about slowing down or running on autopilot because I know what the end goal is. If your end goal is just to replace your income or make 100,000 or whatever your goal may be, that's relatively small, then yes, you can put a lot of work in up front, get a bunch of Google reviews, get a good online presence going, get a lot of referrals coming in, and then it's kind of on autopilot from there. It's not to say set it and forget it. You still need to be getting reviews and all this. But once you get to a point where you're getting 1 to 4 calls a day, obviously your business is kind of running on autopilot. You're not having to spend a lot of money on paid advertising or anything. You're just simply what we like to call growing organically. You're just growing through referrals. You're growing through people seeing your Google business profile, your Facebook, you're targeting local groups and things of that nature. It's all just organic traffic. So it depends on what your goal is. Most people that are watching my channel at the bare minimum want to grow a decent company, upwards of $500,000 to $1 million. I know for most of you that I've spoken to personally. And then some of you are like me where you want to just shoot for the stars. You want to hit it, minimum 10 million plus a year, or $10 million valuation, that is, which usually would require about 2 to 5 million a year. But you have high ambitions, right? So it's going to take a lot of work thinking that you're going to come out, run your schedule, and just work part-time and get full-time CEO results. Is just crazy, right? But there's a lot of that BS going around on the internet nowadays. So I wanted to address just all that. And then of course, 2 other little points that I had to make was obviously taxes. The moment you start making legitimate profit on your business, you're going to realize real quick why taxes are a bunch of BS. You're going to start to criticize our tax system a lot more the moment you open your business and you actually start having net profit, not sales, but net profit. Once you start profiting at all and you start seeing how much you actually get taxed as a producer in this country, you will be up in arms and probably change your voting habits, to say the least, but that's a subject for another day. Last point in terms of, reality checks, if you're going to be starting your business, is get used to people trying to fuck you. And when I say that, that might surprise a lot of you. I don't know why. If you've been on Earth long enough, you should know that there's bad people out here. And when I say that, like what I'm referring to mostly is just about everything you'd expect. People not paying you. People, trying to take you to court, sue you for saying that, you didn't do this, that, and the other when you had them sign a contract that clearly states this is what you said you would do, this is what you did. You got all this BS that you got to go through now, paying lawyers, taking time out of the business, things of that nature. There's just POS people out here. There's things that you will learn to do in terms of putting contracts in place and things of that nature, getting paid up front, deposits, things of that nature. There's a lot that you'll just learn along the way. But again, just another thing that a lot of people don't think about. A lot of people just think that everyone is good, everyone's goodwill, good-hearted. And in reality, when it comes to money specifically, the worst comes out of people. Just look at divorces, for example. Like, look at when people die even, and there's not a will in place. Like, look how crazy family members get about that shit. So, go into your business being protective of your time, your money, your resources, your knowledge, because it's all worth money. And if people are going to try to screw you around on that, you've got to have proper things in place, collection agencies, like I said, good lawyers, everything in place. And this will be things that you get as, like I said, you just continue to go through your own journey of starting and growing your business. But to some of the good parts now, because like I said, first 10 minutes or so, we wanted to focus on just kind of harsh realities. If any of this sounds like, all the stuff we just went over, if any of it just sounds like it's just totally not for you, then you might want to pump the brakes a little bit. You might want to actually reconsider, like, am I ready for this? Is this a road that I actually want to go down, or do I want to stay in my safe job where I'm making, 100,000 or 50, whatever you're making a year, and you got your good benefits. You don't got to worry about your taxes because it's all mostly done for you. You work 8 hours a day, maybe 12 some days. You think you have it real bad, but you really don't. It just gives you something to think about. And by no means am I advocating for no one starting their business, by the way. That's the whole point of me having almost 1,000 videos now on this channel. It's me literally documenting everything. That way, those of you that do want to take action, start your business, you can speed up your learning curve. You can learn from everything that I didn't know. I talk about on this channel all the time. If I knew what I knew when I started my business in 2020 that I know today, I could get to where I'm at right now in probably less than 90 days. Just because you take all that knowledge and you just hit the ground running, apply it. Man, I didn't expect that to be that loud. But you hit the ground running and you apply it. You don't know what you don't know until you actually get into the fire and you actually start learning that, like, oh shit, there's more to this than I expected. Oh man, what is SEO? What is backlinks? What is blogging? Why do I even need to do all this? Like, there's so much out here. And I'm referring to all that stuff because that's the season I'm in right now with, getting our online presence in terms of our website. We've got the Google business optimization and everything going, but we need to get our website rankings up. We need to get our SEO better. We've been making strides over the last year or two, but we got a long way to go. I just teamed up with another YouTuber, actually, who does a lot of SEO. If you're in our Discord group chat, which is totally free to join, link in the description. I mentioned that briefly the other day, that we just signed up with somebody to help us build backlinks and all this type of stuff for our website. Good backlinks, not BS backlinks. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But to the reasons that you would start your business, because like I said, I know the first 10 minutes or so we've hit a lot on some of the quote unquote negatives. Like I said, don't look at them as negatives, just look at them for what it is. It's just the realities of starting your business, or starting and growing your business, that is. Some of the reasons that you would want to do it is because obviously you want that long-term freedom. There's no better freedom in the world than growing a business that one day you can either A, cash out and sell, because obviously if you grow your business to where, if most of you guys are service business driven, like you're in the pest control industry or an HVAC, whatever the case may be, you grow your business to the point where you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 trucks, and you have a route, you have 5, 10 routes, you are doing 500,000, a million, 2 million, whatever the number may be, you are actually building an asset that you can sell. Think of it like when you go invest in the stock market, right? These are all companies. These are assets that you are investing in that you can hold long term and then sell. Or, if they pay dividends, you can live off the dividends, whatever the case may be. Your business is the same thing. It's an asset if you build it properly. If you don't build it properly, you can run into some bad situations where your business isn't worth anything. It's a glorified client list, and if nothing else, you may get a few $1,000s for it. But in most cases, as long as you structure your business properly, you have good systems in place, a good CRM, you have, a lot of financial records, profit loss statements, and, had a good accounting teams throughout your years and all that good stuff, you're going to build an asset that you can sell, and that's going to give you the freedom that, we're all looking for at the end of the day, on top of all your other investments. Because by no means should you just invest all into your business. You should, that first 5 to 10 years, in my opinion, just what I'm doing. That's literally what I'm doing. Everything that we got goes straight back into the business right now. And then longer term, we'll start investing into, real estate and, Roth IRAs, all this BS, right? But whole point is you're building a big asset that you control, that you can either sell one day, pass down to your kids, whatever the case may be. And then, like we said, it's giving you freedom, if nothing else. I see we got a question here I'll get to real quick. How's it going? Benji just submitted a bid for a 40 property rental company. Super excited to get my first bid. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I noticed we've had some more commercial bids coming in as well. We just had a 23,000 square foot. I don't even know what type of building you would call it. They're like a tech company of some kind, but giant building that, would definitely add at the minimum a few thousand a year to our top line. So, or no, to the bottom line, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, no, good stuff. But yeah, in terms of, other reasons that you would do that is obviously, like we say, you're building an asset, which kind of in a way is like building your legacy, things that you could leave for your family. Like we said, long-term freedom, because like we said, when you own the company, once you get enough systems in place where, sorry, I just seen a message coming from one of our Discord users. Where was I at with that? Oh yeah, long-term freedom. Once you get to a point where you built your company up, where you have again a lot of good systems in place, where you have technicians, you have managers, you have CSRs, you have just up the chain to where pretty much you become the person that's putting out fires at the end of the day. You have a lot more freedom in terms of the time that we're all seeking. So does it kind of make sense now what I was saying, about 10 to 15 minutes ago, about why you have to sacrifice so long? Because, yeah, you're sacrificing the most at the beginning because you're the technician, you're the salesman, you're the CSR, you're the accountant or the bookkeeper. Don't be the accountant, hire that out from the get go, but you're the bookkeeper. You're the supplier in terms of, well, not the supplier, but you're responsible for ordering the supplies. You're the marketer. You're the digital SEO, search engine optimization for your website and Google Business Profile. You, man, I mean, the list goes on and on. You do the car wash and all this stuff for your vehicles. Like, you do everything that first year or two, depending on how long it takes you. And then from there, hire a technician. And then that gets you out of the truck. Once you get out of the truck, you have a lot more time to do all the other stuff, like focus on the sales, focus on the marketing, focus on the SEO, all this other stuff. Then from there, you start delegating this stuff. Okay, we got somebody running our Google ads for us. We got someone doing the SEO for us. Okay, now we're focusing on sales. Sales, in my opinion, is the last thing you want to outsource, unless if you stay in the truck and then you kind of reverse engineer it in terms of, instead of getting out of the truck first for God knows what reason, you want to stay in the truck as long as possible. You stay in the truck, you hire the sales out first. That depends on the business owner. If you're someone who is very what's the word I'm looking for? Not even introverted, because you can't even be introverted being a technician, in my opinion. Like, you at least have to have somewhat good social skills, right? Otherwise, your churn is going to be horrible. Churn just means, your cancel rate, right? So to me, I always say get out of the truck first, hire out in terms of, just if you want kind of a step-by-step list, get out of the truck first, hire, your first technician or two. Then from there, start hiring out things like marketing, SEO. Sales should probably be the last thing, unless if for some reason that's just a severe, which I don't know how you're going to grow a company not being at least somewhat good at sales. But if you're just severely lacking in the sales department, maybe hire that out earlier. Maybe you're really good at marketing or really good at SEO, but that, sales just isn't a strong suit of yours. Those 2 to 3 you can kind of mess around with, but in my opinion, from my experience, the best thing is to get out of the truck first, then hire out the SEO, hire out the marketing, and then hire out your sales at the last, your CSR, your sales, all that type of stuff, follow up, all of that. So yeah, I was trying to think here if there was anything else. Like I said, I have some bullet points for you guys that we always like to go over when we're first going live. I know it's been, a week or two since I've been going live. That's another point that I actually need to make with just business being super busy. I am having to cut back on the live streams and the videos that I've been posting lately. It just is what it is. Like I tell you guys, YouTube is not a business for me. I don't do really, a whole lot in terms of like consultations. I have some of you guys hit me up from time to time. Don't think that I'm like an asshole not getting back to you or nothing. It's just I'm busy. Like I'm just busy. It is what it is. Those of you in Discord know. I caught up with you all the other night. It was like 9 o'clock. I was like, man, I'm just now catching up on the day, like just now winding down, that type of thing. But with that being said, that is why there's obviously been a drop in terms of how often we've been going live, how often we've been posting videos. I'm still trying to at least pre-record some for you guys. And then when I have time to edit them, get them edited, and then maybe this fall, winter, start shooting them out like rapid fire for you guys again, once we have some time, possibly. But yeah, like I tell you guys, I'm not YouTube. Being a YouTuber is not my business. This is just me, like I said, documenting my journey for you guys. Any chance that I get where I come across something where I'm like, man, this can like save you thousands of dollars, lots of headaches. Like I said, just speed up that learning curve for you guys. And yeah, if that can help you all out, then that's awesome. I mean, shoot, like I said, I mean, YouTube, we make from the ad revenue or whatever, somewhere around like $40 to $60 a month most months. And you only get paid from YouTube once you hit $100. So, we only get paid like every 2, sometimes 3 months from YouTube. Some of you guys use the affiliate links in our description box, which I appreciate. But, again, we're not in the business of YouTube and affiliate marketing or any of this stuff. Like, I just do this for you guys, and whatever little drip we get, cool, it helps, fund the channel if nothing else, because I do get some equipment sometimes and things like that. But yeah, just do it for you all, because I know that I get so annoyed getting online and not being able to find the information that I'm looking for. It's always somebody trying to sell you some bullshit, especially when it comes to like website and SEO and marketing. It's always some freaking marketer trying to sell you some pipe dream about how they're going to get you freaking leads for $10 to $20 when you know damn well they're $50 to $200 depending on your market. It's just a lot of fluff out here on the internet. So, I try to just be a quote unquote voice of reason, and just, like I said, just post my experience, post things that are working for us, things that don't work for us, and just, go from there. Like I said, we took this business from 0 to 6 figures. I can't say 0 to 7 yet. We're slowly working our way up to 7. And, man, I cannot wait to see what the next year or two has in store, because we made some financial mistakes back in 2023 that set us back probably at least 2 years. But we have since rectified those. We're in the process of, getting a lot of things back in order. We freed up in May about $2,000 to $3,000 a month of cash flow, and then starting August 1st, we're gonna free up another $3,000 of cash flow, just from paying off some debts and things of that nature. So just this year alone, we are going to have freed up $5,000 to $6,000 a month of cash flow. So you can imagine what that can do for a business, pumping in, $3,000 to $6,000 a month of cash flow into marketing, into SEO, things of that nature. And then, of course, hiring on technicians and getting trucks and upgrading equipment and just all this stuff, right? All the stuff takes money. It takes money to make money, and that's what it takes. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, what it takes, like, that's another thing that you're gonna have to realize out here when you start your business, is once you actually start growing your business, you hit 6 figures for the first time. You have that first $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 year, is you're gonna have to kind of take a step back and think to yourself, like, man, we've got, in most cases, based on, again, my experience and other solo operators that I've talked to on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, once you hit 100 to 200,000 a year, you're probably going to notice you have a lot of extra money, quote unquote, left over. Of course, you got to pay your taxes and all that stuff too. Whole other subject for a different day. But you're, even after taxes and everything, you're going to have a few $1,000s a month left over, and you have to kind of have a come to Jesus meeting, and have a come to Jesus meeting with yourself. Go do some self evaluation in the mirror and look at that motherfucker in the mirror and say, do we want it? How bad do we want it? Do we want it bad enough that we're going to take every dollar of this 3,000, 4,000, whatever the number may be, and pump this back into the business? Or are we going to settle? Are we going to settle with 100 to 200,000 a year, 10 to 20,000 a month, and just put it on autopilot and just, invest a little bit into the stock market, into real estate, into just other things, and increasing my lifestyle a little bit, take an extra vacation here and there? Like, everyone's different from that aspect. That's where, again, you need to self-reflect, look yourself in the mirror, maybe talk with the spouse a little bit, and, just figure out where you stand in terms of what you want, because we all say that we want the $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, $100 million business until we start to actually scale up that little bit. Once you start hitting levels you never hit before in your lifetime in terms of income, sales, things of that nature, it can be real quick to become, one of you guys actually called it out in the comments one day, was a lifestyle creep. It's very easy for that lifestyle to start to creep up on you, especially if you're not paying attention to the money, which is why I always tell you guys, use a budgeting app and track your money. Don't just use QuickBooks. We use QuickBooks too, but use a budgeting app, something like Every Dollar, or was it Betterment or Mint? I forget the name of it. Use some type of budgeting tool to track every dollar, hence the name of that app, Every Dollar. That way you can see, where's the money going? Are we starting to notice the lifestyle creeping up? Are we starting to notice, we're starting to, eat out a little bit more? That's what you gotta, there's a lot of moving parts, because it's not just the business, it's your personal life. How's it going, Luca? And by the way, yeah, if y'all have any questions or anything, I've pretty much gone through most of my bullet points. So if y'all have any questions about starting your business, doesn't have to be a pest control business specifically. I just know most of my viewers are into like starting or growing their pest control business. But if you have any just general business questions or anything, don't hesitate to shout it out in the chat real quick. We'll probably be live for another 5 or 10 minutes. I've been trying to be better about, ending my nights a little bit earlier and things of that nature. Luca says, glad to catch a live, about to hit my 2 years as a licensed tech. Congrats. In September, so yeah, it's coming up. Be able to apply for my QA. Any advice how to price restaurants and apartments? So I've actually done, I believe, a video about commercial pest control, I want to say. And my mind I've evolved a little bit in my mindset in terms of commercial work, because in that video, I think I mostly outlined the negatives of commercial work. There's a lot of positives too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's something to be said about, when you get a commercial account locked in on a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year contract, just knowing that, like, hey, this account is a $500 a month account or $5,000 a year if they pay yearly, whatever the case may be. We got them locked in for 1 year, 5 years, whatever the case may be. There's something to be said about that, because it gives you a sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? Comfort, like a sense of comfort that, like, hey, we could literally lose, especially when you first bring them on. I know I always get this little phenomenon. I start doing the math. I'm like, damn, we just brought on a commercial account for $400 a month. That's equivalent to 10 residential customers paying $40 a month. We could lose 10 residentials and we're still good, because we just got the, like, you just start getting this euphoria about the commercial work when you get it. But to answer the question about like how to price them, restaurant, it's kind of a two-part question, because you're going to price restaurants different than you price apartments. Because with apartments, obviously, a lot of times you're going to be going out weekly or bi-weekly. Usually, from my experience, how Terminex would do it, at least for a lot of apartments that I remember, is they would go out to some of these larger ones, 300 plus units. They would go out there every week. They would ask, hey, can we see the list? The little what do they call them, like leasing agents up front. They would know what you're referring to. They give you the list. Some weeks there's no calls whatsoever. Some weeks there's 3 or 4. Some weeks there's 10. Who knows? But you just go through that list, knock it all out. And then once a quarter, I believe it was, they would, do the general stuff, checking the rodent boxes, spray. Sometimes, depending on the complex, spray around the buildings, the perimeter, all that type of stuff. So it depends on what you're going to be doing, what you're going to offer. Is there going to be rodent stations involved? Is there not? The one thing that I will say in terms of any commercial, apartments, restaurants, whatever the case may be, is you're going to use a lot less rodent stations than you would think. I learned this actually just recently because we're working with a commercial client now who, it was like a 25,000 square foot building, and they were having rodent issues. And, based on how we walked out the property and everything, I was like, man, this property probably needs roughly 30 rodent stations, because, they should ideally be roughly 25 feet or so, roughly 25 feet apart from each other. Well, the other quotes that they got were saying like 7 to 10. And I was like, so that's how these companies do it, huh? So I explained to him why we suggested the amount. He said it totally made sense, that we were actually priced way better in terms of price per rodent station. And, hey, could we, knock it down? I was like, if that's what y'all want to do, we can do, as low as 20 of them. So we chopped down, we were at something like 32 or something like that, rodent stations. We knocked it down by 12, and, bada bing, bada boom, you got the job. But, you're gonna use a lot less. So when I was working out the math that these companies had done, because one said like 7 or 8, the other one said like 9 or 10, so, pretty close to each other. When I worked out the math, they were putting stations roughly every like 50 to 75 feet away from each other. So, you're going to use a lot less rodent stations than you're going to anticipate, at least if you're like me, where you're used to putting like 3, sometimes 4, or maybe more, obviously, depending on the size of the property. When it comes to residential accounts, you're going to use less. So that's from a rodent side specifically, and then even the general pest control side of it. Like we said, it's different apartments. You're going out there usually, depending on the size of the complex, every week or two, and then doing your quarterly stuff every quarter. That's what makes it so different in terms of apartments versus restaurants. Restaurants, we tend to go out there every month. If there is a German roach infestation, then we will go out there every week. Usually we'll kind of start to phase it out into monthly. So that's what I kind of explained to him. I'm like, so we're going to come out today. We'll come out about a week from now, 7 to 10 days, usually a week or so from now. And then depending on how that follow-up looks, we'll probably do again about a week and a half. If it's looking better, maybe 2 weeks. And then, you just start stretching it out until you get to monthly. And then usually, I don't think I have any commercial in terms of restaurants, commercial accounts that are not on anything further than like a monthly frequency, especially restaurants. They need to be done monthly. Pricing on it, again, it's going to vary so widely compared to residential, just because every situation is different. In terms of restaurants, our cheapest is usually for an initial setup around 125. If it's very, very, very small, maybe like $75 or so. I rarely do them that cheap. Usually it's around $100 or so. But again, it depends. Is there a German roach infestation? Like, there's so many moving parts. I'm just giving you, like, I don't want anyone in the comments that are going, oh my God, they're so cheap. Da, 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 da. Again, I'm just giving you kind of like the most basic scenario, just being really general here, generalizing it here. Like we said, assuming there's no rodent stations involved, no type of infestations, as low as 75, as much as like 125 for like a restaurant. And then usually for the monthly, somewhere around 70 to 90 bucks a month going forward. Sometimes, again, a little bit more. So many moving parts. That's why I hate answering that question, because like we could literally spend a whole hour or more, pulling out the old whiteboard back there and being like, okay, for this situation right here, we would do. And for this situation right here, like we could literally go through 100 different scenarios. But I'm trying to at least like give you at least somewhat an idea. And then apartments, I would just say, price it per door, figure out, is it going to be rodent control as well as pest control, all that type of stuff. And then just figure out a good price per door and then just multiply it based on how many units there are. Same thing with a hotel, by the way. Let's see. How's it going there, Freddie? Hope they're going well. Yes, sir. Yeah, appreciate it. Always awesome seeing you all here. Yeah, a lot of different variables. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just so many different variables. That's why, like, we never price commercial over the phone. Sometimes if I can pull it up on Google Earth, I'll give them a range at least. That way we're not, like, wasting each other's time, especially restaurants. But anything in terms of German roach infestation or apartment complex, anything, with a lot of different variables, we refuse to price it over the phone. We'll go look at it in person. Usually takes with drive time about an hour or so out of your day. And then, you just quote it and go from there. And hopefully you guys are liking the stream so far. If you are, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. It helps other people find the video or stream, that is, if you're catching it live. And I'm going to get into some of the comments we got here because, like I said, I've just been so busy. It's hard to keep up with all the different comments that we get on just all these different videos. So just a couple hours ago, we had Ridicule say, can you do a video dedicated to termite work? I'm looking to get into termite work with my new company and I have tons of questions that I'm having a hard time finding answers for. Termite agreements, contracts, liability protection, etc. Can't find anywhere what people are doing to protect themselves and their company from liability. Do you warranty damage? No. Repair? No. Or do you only do retreat? Yeah, so we do retreat only. I'm even going to put that we're going over this in this video. Answering this question in tonight's stream. Maybe I'll be able to catch it after the fact, possibly. But yeah, in terms of termite work too, this is actually good for most of you all because if you're going to look at doing termite work, it's very, very important. Like it's, more dangerous than wildlife work even in terms of your liability potential. So main thing is make sure you have a good contract in place that's been looked over by a lawyer. If you use a CRM like GorillaDesk, which is who of course we've been using for pretty much ever since we started our business. If you want to try them out, by the way, they've hooked you all up with a free 2-week trial. They don't ask for your credit card information or anything. No strings attached. You can try out the pro version for free for 2 weeks in the description box. Should be in my description box. If for some reason it's not, just click my LinkTree. It's in there as well. They finally hooked you all up with that a few months ago. But yeah, if you use a CRM like them or any of these like really good ones, then they come with a lot of these contracts already. And then you can do electronic signature, adjust the pricing and everything as you need to. But yeah, ours is a retreatment warranty only. We don't do damage repair, anything like that. Simply because, in my opinion, it's a scam. I saw it firsthand at Terminex. Terminex has had many lawsuits, and not even just Terminex. I don't want to single Terminex out. They're not the only one. There's even regional companies, other national companies who have had the same lawsuits come against them where they find a way to get out of it because in the contract it simply states that there must be live termite evidence at the time of the technician going out to assess the damages. If there is not, then there's no way to prove that those damages were after the treatment was done. So to me, it's just a giant scam, and that is why, we just offer retreatment warranty only. I've never lost a job at least to my knowledge, due to not offering like damage repair warranty or anything like that. Besides, we have a customer vetting process as well. I know that might sound crazy to some people, but not every customer is the right customer for you. You are not right for every customer. So it's best for both sides to vet each other. And if we get a sense that, this customer could be a headache, we simply price ourselves out. If we know a job should normally be $1,400, we'll price it at $3,100, right? Like, we're just not gonna mess around with someone that, and by all means, we don't just throw out a random number. That's a calculated number where we're like, yeah, this customer has the potential to be a real big fucking nightmare. There is a certain price for everybody that we're willing to take them on, and if they're willing to pay that, then we'll do it. But we try to price ourselves out, essentially, if we run into a case like that. I'm sure you guys know what I'm referring to when I'm referring to those type of customers. But yeah, no, that's definitely a good question, because yeah, you want to have good contracts in place. Make sure that you're limiting your liability. And for Christ's sakes, guys, if you're gonna offer damage repair, stick to your word. Like, don't have the customer jump through all these loopholes. Either offer it and stand by it, or just don't do it at all. Do what we do. Just don't offer it at all, and be totally blunt with them. I found it's actually led to us getting more sales, because we will get the question like, oh yeah, we had such and such come out and they say they warranty damages and things like that. I literally we explain it to them. We say, yeah, this is how that actually works. This is why we don't do it. We feel like it's a big scam. You can actually look up, if you want to, all these different lawsuits against these companies. And it's eye-opening for the consumer and refreshing, because you're being honest with them. They don't feel like they're being sold a bag of goods by a snake oil salesman. So yeah, that is my 2 cents on that. Let's see. Why GorillaDesk? There's so many CRMs out there. Because it's been the best for the price. They haven't adjusted the price in over, I've been a customer for 4 years now, essentially. Coming up on 4 years. Not quite 4, but almost 4 years. They've never raised the price. They continue to add more features to it. They do have a new plan that also includes like VoIP services. I will say I don't think it's necessarily worth it. I think it's something like, was like $2.99 if you go for that version. I think I got it pulled up here. Let me see. No, not the dashboard. Let's see, where is it at? So the growth plan is, $2.99 a month. So, and by the way, if you ever did pay for the year with them, you get 1 month for free, for whatever that's worth. But yeah, like I said, to me, if you use GorillaDesk along with a tool like OpenPhone, which is as cheap as roughly $15 to $20 a month, and you connect them with Zapier, then you're good as gold for pretty much $120 a month roughly, and you're plugging and rolling. And I have looked into all these other ones like field routes and everything. They want to tie you down to contracts. They claim they have all these reports and all this BS that GorillaDesk doesn't have, which is not true. Their price is usually 2 to 4x depending on the size of your company. Field routes is one I'm thinking off the top of my head, because they're constantly calling me every 3 to 6 months trying to sell me on their BS. What's some other ones out there? Is it Service Titan? I mean, there's a bunch of them. Like BryoStack actually used to be decent, but if I recall, they sold recently, like within the last couple years, and they've went to shit. Jobber is just more of like a contract. I was trying to see is it Service Titan? Trying to see. Service Titan is one. It's kind of like Jobber. Yeah, those are more like for contractors. Yeah, I mean, like I said, GorillaDesk has added so much over the year. I mean, there's stuff even to this day that I'll pull up and be like, oh, they have that report now? Like, I just found out recently, whenever they added their dashboard, for example, you could not see your recurring services. So you had to kind of do some guesswork, going to the customers, active customers, all this to kind of figure out, how many recurring customers you have. Now they not only have that, but they have it broken down based on each recurring service, what percent that makes up, even the dollar amount that is made off of those as well. Like yeah, I mean, there's stuff being added to this. I do wish there was a way, and maybe there is, and again, I haven't found it out yet because I don't have the time right now to really play around with it a whole heck of a lot. That's more winter months, but if they could add something in there into the dashboard, because that'd be where it is in there. I wish I was doing screen share so y'all can see what I'm talking about, but if they could add something in there that automatically like calculates your churn rate and things of that nature, that would be awesome as well. But yeah. Let's see. How are their reports? How are their reports to help with operations monitoring, day-to-day numbers, sales leads, etc.? Yeah, I know that they're that version that I was referring to. I'm trying to pull it back up here. Keep forgetting what they call it. They call it the growth plan. It comes with some other things in there as well. This is more so like if you already have sales, like actual sales men in your business. Like say you have actual salesmen hired within your company, I would definitely go straight to the growth plan in that case, because there's opportunity creation, customer opportunity pipelines, custom sales pipeline reporting, even multi-branch setup. Like, yeah, I mean, if you're to the point where you probably got at least a couple techs, a couple salesmen, things of that nature, don't even mess with even the pro version. Definitely don't mess with the basic version. Just go straight to the growth if you're wanting like every single little detail, the sales pipeline reporting and all that. There is enough within the pro plan in terms of tracking leads if you know how to use Zapier and APIs and things of that nature. Like for example, I can see inbound leads this month. We have 45 total inbound leads. Now some of these, because of how I have the Zapier API set up, I need to figure out a way to get it to not put duplicate leads in here. There's a couple of them in here that are duplicate leads, but like I can see that, so far in July we've got 45 leads. In June we had 49, May we had 50, April 58, etc., etc. And then obviously you can go down the list, see what day they called, what number, if they submitted a form, their email, the source that they came from. And then, of course, if you converted the lead into a sale, you would do it in here. Like I said, this would actually be a good screen share type of thing to show. But, I guess it'd be kind of hard without showing the customer information. I don't want to expose their stuff or anything. But let me see, so day-to-day. Yeah, and I kind of already hit on the day-to-day numbers as well. They have a new dashboard that they, thank God, finally came up with earlier, I want to say late last year or earlier this year, where, like I said, there's a whole dashboard now where you can track, like, estimates that you have currently out for this month, this year, etc., invoices aging, new customers and leads by source. Again, that's where you want to have, like, Zapier linked up with like your website and call rail and things of that nature. That way you know where your leads are coming from, and then that way it can be put into GorillaDesk automatically. Revenue by staff. What else? Where majority of your payments are coming from. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's to the point now where they've got a ton of like reporting data in here. Some of it's overkill in my opinion. Like I said, there's some fine little ones that, like, if you're really, really, really wanting to like maximize your processes in terms of knowing your churn rate, knowing your LTV for a customer, things of that nature, I would like there to be some way that could be implemented in GorillaDesk. In some ways, I don't know how that is going to be possible, unless if you, I'm trying to think how that would work. I mean, because you'd essentially have to find a way, which I guess you might be able to use an API. I don't know for sure. Like I said, it's hard in terms of like LTV is what I'm referring to the most, because for LTV, like you have to have, GorillaDesk would essentially have to be able to connect to like your bank account, connect to your Google Ads account, which, yeah, Google Ads you could connect to GorillaDesk using Zapier, but to be able to connect everything to be able to determine LTV, it would be much easier to just use a spreadsheet, which we actually have a spreadsheet that helps us keep track of LTV. So it's not a big deal. It's just, if you're trying to create like the perfect platform, then ideally there'd be some way to calculate LTV, or at least make it a little easier to calculate that. But yeah, I mean, for the price, again, the price hasn't been raised as far as I know ever. It's very, very hard to complain. How's it going? Drig 17. What's the best payment method to accept card payments on your site? Stripe, in my opinion. Just using Stripe. Like that's who we use. We use Stripe. We don't accept payments on our, well, we technically do. We have a customer portal that's set up through GorillaDesk, and if we send an invoice out, they can click on the invoice and pay it that way, and it's through Stripe as well. But we use Stripe in terms of like all of our debit card, credit card processing, and then if for some reason we needed to set up like a repayment agreement, like for like a bigger job that's like $2,000 or more, we usually we have a contract that is from, I think, Law Depot, if I recall, that has the payment terms, and you just plug and play all your, the numbers in there, and then same thing, we just put it in Stripe, and well, not put it in Stripe, we put it in GorillaDesk under their account. We set it up to like, hey, this is going to be withdrawn on the first of each month for 12 payments, and then stop it at 12 payments, and then you're good to go. That's from like a installment type of thing. Usually will require, 25, 50% down, something like that, and then the rest paid over 6 to 12 months. And again, that's through GorillaDesk and Stripe as well. But yeah, no, hopefully this was another good one for you guys. Hopefully, like I said, you all did get some valuable information. As always, if you're just tuning in, definitely swipe back towards the beginning. We pretty much jumped right in from the get-go around minute 1, minute 2. So if you're just hopping in, definitely rewind back and look at all the points that we talked about in terms of the good, the bad, the ugly, in terms of starting your business, just the realities of starting and growing a business. Is it for you? That's for you to decide. And at what level is for you? That is for you to decide as well. And if you're new to me, like I said, we've got close to like 900 or so videos just about, starting and growing a service business. So if you are new to me, definitely feel free to check out all that content that's on here. Like I said, we got close to 900 videos or so. And if you're not already in our Discord group chat, go ahead. They're free to join any of those groups, the Facebook group, Discord group, all that. They're free to join. They're in my LinkTree in the description box down below. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. Hit the bell icon, all that good stuff down there at the bottom. That way you won't miss any of our future live streams or videos. I try to go live as much as I can. Like I said, I'm in a very busy season with my business right now. YouTube is not my business by any means or anything like that. Maybe someday once I get out of the field a little bit and have some quote-unquote free time, I might open up the idea of doing some more of the consulting one-on-one Q&As, 30 minutes, an hour, Q&As. I don't know what price or anything like that, because like I said, I don't really plan on doing it, but I never say never or anything like that. We're just in a super, super busy stage of growing our own business right now, our pest control business, which if you want to look us up sometime, just see like what we got going on, just type in Preferred Pest Management, Plano, Texas. You'll see our Plano, Texas, Google page. We've got like 120 reviews or so on there. And yeah, you can feel free to look at our website, get some ideas, things of that nature. see what's working for us, what's not working for us, all that stuff. And yeah, again, just to reiterate, tonight we were talking about, is starting a pest control business as easy as it seems? Obviously not. It never is, right? But yeah, if you're tuning in, swipe back, look at the beginning, and watch it all the way through. If you're seeing it after it goes from a live to a video, and you have any questions post live, feel free to drop them in the comments after the fact. Smash thumbs up button, subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one.